Dear friends, dear residents, a very good evening to all of you, and I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to speak with you face to face, heart to heart. The first thing I want to do is to pay tribute to all the people who are keeping me going. I am a new candidate, and I have to admit, campaigning doesn't come naturally to me. Every time that I am out visiting residents and shaking hands with their young children, I cannot help but think of my own 2 kids at home, wondering when their mama will be coming back and whether they will miss seeing me for yet another day. Every time I shake a voter's hand and he calls out my name first, I know that my life will never be the same again, because in this life, in politics, you will have no privacy. And I know my life will not be the same again regardless of the outcome of this election or any subsequent elections. Every time I see an irresponsible comment online or hear an opponent propagating baseless views, I tell myself that I am no longer allowed to bristle with indignation. I have a cause, and to live my cause, I have to pay this price. But I go on because of the thousands upon thousands of supporters who also believe in our cause. First, I want to thank our active supporters. They pound the streets with me, walk the blocks beside me, deal with the countless issues of logistics and preparations behind the scenes. They do so while sacrificing their own time with their families and even their sleep. Second, I want to thank the quieter supporters, the silent supporters. They are the ones who send me emails and they tell me to take what is going on in the cybersphere with a big pinch of salt. They are also the ones who wait for me to finish block visits. They meet me at the void decks just to tell me that they like what I'm doing, and they give me a pat on the back. They are the ones who stand at their door and tell me, I will vote for you and your team, but please go now, don't stay too long. Your time is precious, and I want you to fight for every vote. I'm not the only one who benefits from the support of thousands and thousands of our friends and people who believe in us. Every one of us on this stage, and all of my fellow PAP candidates across the island feel the same way. This is a tribute to all of you. Thank you. I said, I have a cause. What is my cause? Not long ago, my opponents have said that we should, quote, take Singapore back, unquote. I think that our people, that our electorate can tell for themselves whether it is to take Singapore back or set Singapore back. Where does our opponents want to take Singapore back to? I have no wish for my country to go back in time to the 1980s, the 1970s, or the 1960s. Do you agree? I want us to take our country forward. I want for your children and my children to look forward and inherit a Singapore that continues to be prosperous and looks after all segments of society. I want for your children and my children to inherit a Singapore that continues to be safe and secure. Secure from external threats and domestic safety concerns. I don't think we want our children to live in a country that has its defense compromised because the rulers have forgotten the basis of our existence and decided to cut the defense expenditure. As a woman, I treasure the freedom of walking alone at night on our streets, and I want my daughter to have that freedom too. And I do not want any foolish fiscal policies to waste away our ability to pay for and sustain an able and hard-working police force. I want for my children and your children a Singapore where people of different races and religions continue to interact peacefully and respectfully with one another. I do not want a country that is riddled with dissent and where people can never agree on a way forward. I do not want for your children and my children a country that is gridlocked by negative politics and endless arguments. I do not want for your children and my children a country that drives away its best, its most creative and dedicated people because the tax system punishes them for creating wealth in the society. I do not want for my children and your children a country that cannot anchor or attract any decent investments because others have much more sensible and attractive business environments than we do. I do not want for your children and my children to inherit a country that has happily broken off a key pillar of its economy, where manufacturing is languishing and where workers are waiting in vain for jobs and for employers to appear. I do not want for our children a country that blindly adopts policies simply because others have it too. I want our country and the country of our children to remain special, a country that is able to sidestep pitfalls nimbly, whatever problems before others. So is there change in this picture? Of course, there is change. This is not the small change that seemed to be jangling about in the pockets of some of my opponents. I'm talking about change as transformation. This is a world where we have to run just to stay in the same place. So to remain ahead, we must be prepared to change. Yes, there are imperfections in our policies that need to be dealt with. We have many schemes and plans in place to help our people, but there are still individuals who sometimes fall between the cracks. I have met many voters and residents, and when they bring up areas of improvement, sometimes very passionately, I have never hesitated to tell them I agree with them whenever I think their criticisms are valid. So they have asked me, if you agree with my criticism, why are you standing on the PAP ticket? The answer, my friends, is very simple. I believe that the same team that shaped our present is best placed to make the changes necessary to secure our future. Change, and that includes radical change ahead of its time, has never been a stranger to this party. We have never been afraid to forge our own way and to find our own solutions. Think back to the 1960s, when we went for home ownership. That was an idea way ahead of its time, against the backdrop of mass poverty, ramshackle houses. Look at the CPF system, which we invented from scratch. Nobody told us what to do and how to pay for our houses and for our social security. Consider what we did with New Water, where we came up with a new source of water for our island. Can we be more inclusive in the future? I think the answer is yes. Can we do more to improve the lives of Singaporeans who are earning lower incomes? Again, I think it is yes. Can we have stronger safety nets? Can we bring out the best in every child? Yes, we can make these changes, and we must. Not only that, apart from a national manifesto, our party has also come up with detailed local plans, which my colleagues have talked about just now, and which we are also determined to deliver. Friends and residents, our track record has always been about innovative and positive change. People trust us to deliver good solutions, and they don't expect from us more of the same. And this is why I'm proud to stand before you and run on the PAP ticket. Majulah PAP! Majulah Singapura!